2.1 for content creators. You know what I'm talking about? It's black and white. The screen looks really cool. Sometimes black and white is better than color, I think. Anyhow, I'm here at home at 7 o'clock, 7:08 in the morning. And just woke up like half an hour ago, getting ready for the day. Just want to do another live. Missed yesterday morning's live, but today, let me just raise this up a little bit. Let you see better. Yeah, I missed yesterday morning's live, but did one last night, which was a good one. So we had a bunch of people join and had good questions coming up, or good questions that came, and talked about live, pretty much off-topic stuff, which seems to be the norm with these live sessions. Anyhow, so it's a cloudy morning. It seems we had some rain last night, which we haven't got in a few weeks, I would say. It's been really dry and hot. This is probably the first day when it's not really super warm or already early in the morning. What's today's agenda? Today's agenda on my end is to record a long YouTube video. 7 key lessons that I've been able to collect over the last 20 plus years as a real estate business owner. I'm actually going to drive over to one of my properties and see if I can record outside instead of doing the classroom look of standing in front of my whiteboard. Trying something different. I like being outdoors, obviously, and just doing something different than just the normal school environment look. I don't know if people appreciate it, but at least it's nice to have a little bit of a change as far as that goes. So that's what I'm going to do. So it's really my signal today. Every day starts by understanding what's relevant, what's not, what I call signal versus noise. Today, the number one activity is to record that YouTube video. I have the script ready. I need to still prep a little bit as far as what I'm talking about. And then after that, the same property I'm going to go to, I was there late last night mowing the lawn. Yeah, trust me, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't usually do a lot of so-called handyman work. I try to outsource that and focus on the things that are relevant in my life. Yesterday I was, I would say forced to do it because I knew I would be going there today and I didn't get anybody to do it. And I've been postponing that activity because I really try to focus on the things that matter the most right now. And to me, focusing on my content, my business and all that has been the biggest priority. Anyhow, it was a mistake to let it grow that long. It was like brutal, and I'm like maybe half done with the work. So I'll probably have to continue today or tomorrow. What day is today? Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. I have to get that done. And it's the property I'm in the process of flipping. So you can force the appreciation to go up in 3 ways in real estate. You buy low. That's one. Second is that you rehab or you build, meaning the value of that work is more than the cost of that work. That's 2. And then 3 is you bank on market to appreciate, which is usually the case with long-term rentals if your property is a strategically important location. There's another way that's somewhat related to buying low, which is to develop. Instead of doing, I would say, building type activity of rehabbing or renovating, you actually buy that piece of land and you force the appreciation to go up by basically having it re-permitted, rezoned, so that your buildable square footage, or square meters in this case, goes up. So that's what I'm doing with this vacation property. I'm actually changing the scope of the property to be just vacation property to something that could be used for year-round living. And as a result, whoever owns that after me is able to build a brand new house there. And that way, what ends up being just now a vacation lot property is going to be something completely different. So I'm not actually touching it. I'm not rehabbing it. I'm just basically, I had it re-permitted, rezoned with the city, and that way the value of the lot goes higher. But the only problem with that was that the neighbors started complaining. There's that appeals process here too. And now that case is going to be heard in front of that appeals court, or whatever. Because the zoning, according to them, wasn't according to the code or the local building code, so to say. And then I just talked to that appeals court representative yesterday, and they're gonna, I think, handle that case in a few months. So there's no lawyers involved. It's not like that. So it's basically just an internal thing. So, but we'll see how that goes. And in the worst case, if it's not approved, which I think it will, if it's not approved, then I will just put it back on the market, because my purchase price, I believe, was still at a wholesale level. So I paid $330 for it. So I'm banking on the property to be worth over 500 when the rezoning is approved. So by just cleaning it up, the lot, I'm able to hopefully make some money. If not, in the worst case, I have to sell it the way it is, then maybe 390 would be my asking price. So the only downside is that my hold period is relatively long. So in that case, a little over a year. But anyhow, it is what it is. So, oh, actually, in that case, it would be next spring probably when I try to sell it. So then it would be 2 years. But still, I'm able to make some money, but not an ideal case. So in order for me to keep the property presentable, so to say, I got to make sure that the yard and all that is taken care of. So that's that. And I haven't really done that much work there anyhow in the past. So we'll see how that goes. So what was I thinking of doing right now? I was thinking of doing the same exact thing I always do, which is to set the tone right for today, which in this case means that I'm gonna take my laptop, start going through some notes, and then I'm gonna take questions from people if there are any. Let me just go grab my drink real quick. I'm usually a very clean person as far as making sure that there's no dust anymore or whatnot, but my cleaning lady, I outsource that work. I don't clean. I just hate vacuuming, but she's on vacation still this week, and I've been forced to do my own cleaning work, so, and I'm lazy in that regard, but it's all good. Next Wednesday she's back, and I'm back to normal. I get to do whatever I want to do. Okay, so 7:15 in the morning. What's up? Where do I have the best lighting here? Is it too dark? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Yeah, the sun is rising right now around maybe 6:30, 6 o'clock. It's crazy here in Scandinavia in the summer, like when you have the longest day, end of June, you basically have, it doesn't really get dark. Sunrise is at 4:30 in the morning and sets at midnight. So you have that 4-hour period of so-called, darker time, whatever. But it's never really pitch black like in the winter when it's completely opposite. Okay, so we got 4 people online. Either it's late Friday for you if you're in North America, or already Saturday, or actually past midnight on the East Coast. But here in Europe, it's already Saturday morning. So my weekend, my signal for today, like I mentioned in the beginning, is to record my 7 key lessons as a real estate entrepreneur. That's my long YouTube video that's going to be released tomorrow on Sunday. The previous one, my last one, where I was basically comparing the business model of doing flips versus rentals from the perspective of building long-term wealth, came out Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday. So I'm now currently on following a twice a week as far as release schedule goes for my long videos, and then shorts daily, just to deliver the message, try to add value, provide value to people. And I just repositioned my channel a couple of weeks ago to focus pretty much 100% on real estate business only. And it kind of makes sense for me. In the beginning, I was more like health, wealth, happiness type of a guy. And I still talk about a lot of that other stuff, these off-topic items or discussion topics in these lives. But my business content, the long form videos, which is the bread and butter of my content, is going to be around real estate business going forward, because I have a 20+ year background in that. I've done it extensively in many countries. I've run several companies, so I felt that repositioning my content, my message, and focusing on that more narrow niche made a lot of sense. So that's why I'm doing it. And then I still have plenty of opportunities to talk about business overall or personal development, which is really close to my heart. If any of you have been watching my content, I'm really passionate about how to get better overall as a human being, as an individual on a daily basis. I've had my share of trouble or challenges, so to say, with relationships. I got divorced 8 years ago. I had another long relationship, difficult breakup after that. And of course, overall, some life experience. So I really spend a lot of time thinking about that stuff. So it's really, really something that, well, again, I use the word passionate a lot, but I guess I can't really underestimate the importance of that in my life. But if you have any questions regarding any of those, let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to go through my journal entries from last year again, which is something that I like to also do in the morning to set the tone right, set my mind right for the day, because there are two types of things, feelings and actions. And I think the number one mistake we always make is that we let our feelings dictate what actions we take. And the more I think about life overall, is the more I'm convinced that it's all about understanding what truly applies to you. Knowing what to want is really hard. And then the second step is to, after you know what you want, then getting that thing is actually a lot easier. So what I want to do overall with my life is I try to simplify everything. I try to start my mornings by asking myself, okay, what's today's signal? What moves the ball forward the most? And then I focus on that only. Maybe there are 2 topics on my agenda for that day and everything else is noise. And I just say, fucking get rid of it. Noise, that's bullshit. Don't pay attention. Let that fire burn. Sounds really easy on paper. What's really hard in practice is to really do it. It's just something that has taken me freaking forever to get good at. Some people, by default, they know how to say no to stuff. They know how to prioritize better. Me, on the other hand, I've been always the type of guy who's been trying to have like a bunch of doors open, backup plans and insurance policies, so to say. And it hasn't always really served me well, until I realized that I'd really, in order to get good at something, because there's this idea that, one professional season might take 7 to 10 years. So if you really believe in that concept of really going deep into something, you can't just do it if you have several agendas, several focus points, because there is no such thing as being able to focus on multiple things simultaneously. Okay, so on June 10, 2024, I wrote to myself that I'm desperately scared of regret. I've lived my life out of great fear of regret. I bet on myself emotionally. I'm starting from scratch and I bet on myself yet one more time. That's when I started my coaching business. And what I mean by being desperately scared of regret is that that's how I keep motivating myself every day. We had a long conversation yesterday with another gentleman from the UK about how to motivate yourself and what our goals in life are. So if you're interested in watching that, that's that last night's live recording. That's on my channel. But basically I told that guy as well that I have two goals in life. Number one is to make sure I have zero regrets when I'm out of time. And that's how I keep endlessly motivating myself and moving forward on those important topics. And what that means is that when I'm 90 or 100 or whenever that happens, somebody tells me that, look, you're out of time. I want to make sure that I don't have any regrets. And that requires me to have a really deep connection with my intuition, with my gut, so that I don't let fear dictate what I do, but I keep asking myself, what is it that I have to do today in order to not have any regrets down the road? So that's really what I'm focusing on every day, and that's why I need to ask myself what moves the ball forward, and then not let any of that fear dictate what I do. So when I started doing this, not just the lives, but I mean like a year and 4 months ago, creating content, I was not comfortable in front of the camera. It was one of the things that I knew I had to do so that I wouldn't have any regrets, because I had, from business perspective, I had read so much about building personal brands and how social media and the attention that people can create using this free channel. And this is, by the way, where all the attention is nowadays in today's society. It's just crazy how especially businesses, how they miss out on this great opportunity to be where everybody else is. But of course, there's plenty of competition. Supply is almost unlimited. So therefore, knowing that you have to be able to just keep doing it for a very, very long time in order to get some results is just hard. Okay, let me just move the camera here a little bit again. Make sure that I'm going to go outside, sit on the balcony soon, just to enjoy the view. Yeah, so that's what I wrote to myself. Gary Vaynerchuk is a guy I've been following a lot, and he talks about organic social media, how you go generic, post videos, one of them goes viral or does better than the others, then you tweak it, add your contact details, turn it into an ad. You spend $100 to advertise to everyone within a 10-mile radius from your home. First customer contacts you, you turn generic into specific. My audience is global because I wanted to start a business that's location independent. I didn't want to be tied to one location because I see myself living in a hybrid mode in the future where I maybe spend the winter somewhere where it's warm. That's what I started doing 3 years ago already, like extend the time periods, because my kids get older and older and older time. They don't need me on a daily basis. This coming winter is the first time when I spend a month at a time elsewhere. So I just booked a trip a couple of weeks ago to Spain. I've been spending a lot of time there. So starting beginning of November until sometime in December, I'm going to be there. So kind of a longer time period of a month before Christmas, and then another one right after Christmas, so that I can break the winter. I don't really enjoy the cold or the dark. So why do I live here then? So well, I love the summer, and my family's from here. We moved back from the States, 9-10 years ago, and my kids have been living here now ever since. So they go to school here, so that's why I just want to be obviously close to them. So sometimes you have to do something, spend money on something to understand it was the wrong thing. People see it as wasted, but it's not. It was the price of knowing your direction. This is the thing that I think about a lot. And I'm happy about the advice I gave myself over a year ago, because I look at it this way. Sometimes you have to spend whatever it takes to make sure that the world leaves you alone, so to say. Some people look at it as a mistake, or that was expensive, but maybe that's the cost of peace of mind. That sometimes you gotta spend whatever it takes to buy yourself some time and be able to be alone and reflect and go, see the big picture. And in business, it might mean that you kill certain parts of your business, or you discontinue and you start from scratch, and people are like, well, that cost you a lot of money, but maybe that was the price tag that you just had to pay at that point to get that mental clarity. That's how I look at it. So I look at it as learnings. The focused fool can accomplish more than a distracted genius. Your most valuable asset isn't your time, it's your attention. A man with time and distractions will always lose to the man with the deadline and a singular focus. This type of a quote was the backbone of me changing my operational mode, my daily operational mode dramatically, because like I mentioned, I used to be the kind of guy who pretty much said yes to every opportunity. I was not a people pleaser, but it was hard for me to turn down good opportunities until I realized that I need to learn how to say no first. So yes is not the first answer. It's always no, because no gives you clarity. And then when you have clarity and time, you can actually turn that time into attention, like I just mentioned here. And then when you have attention, then you can get focus. And with focus, you can get really good at something. And once you're good at something, then you can monetize that. That's how it always works. People make the mistake. I just talked to somebody a while ago, and that person is employed, meaning works for somebody else, but kind of wants to start a business. And then that person, I don't know when I say he or she because it would reveal too much, but it doesn't matter even. So then that person was like, okay, well, I have this side hustle that I want to maybe turn into a full-time business in the future. And then the same person goes like, okay, well, I've been doing some social media marketing here and there, and it hasn't really taken off. So maybe now, after a couple of months, I start another side hustle, since the first one didn't really take off. And I'm like, look, so first of all, your biggest bottleneck right now is your full-time job. So you need to carve out as much time as possible on the side to work on that one side hustle, because you're already splitting your attention into two. So then adding another one, meaning another distraction, having three simultaneously is not going to do any good, because you got to put in the hours, put in the reps into the first one to get good at that, and not add another one, because it's the shiny object syndrome. People do quote unquote half-ass work and expect top-notch results, and then they're like, well, this didn't work out because the new opportunity looked shinier and better on the other side of the fence. And it's so tempting, because everything looks easy at first, but then when you get into it, it gets so fucking hard. It's just unreal. I'm going through the grind. And I know, but I also know that right now, since I'm in the middle of the grind, and this is me coaching myself at the same time. One of the reasons, by the way, why I do these live sessions is that I get to talk to myself. I get to see myself on this stupid tiny ass screen here, a display. And I get to see how fluent I am in expressing my ideas, how I can simplify them, and maybe somebody else gets value out of this too. But one of the reasons why I do this is that I have these so-called coaching sessions with myself, where I ask myself advice as far as what a 90-year-old version of me would say, or what advice that person would give me right now, assuming that person has all that 90 years or whatever, 95 years of experience. And oftentimes you would be surprised how good that advice is. You know what I mean? It's people, we ignore that stuff. That's what I'm saying. But one of the reasons why I do this is that I just want to make sure that I get to coach myself as well, because I'm like nobody else. I need to be reminded constantly about the right path. What are the right actions to take? So that's how it goes. So a focused fool is the way to go. Do the simple things, simple effective things over and over until you get results. And when the going gets tough in my life, You know what I do? I always ask myself, what did I do in fitness? Because that's my longest track record of getting something done. 32 years of training had taught me or has taught me so much about life and business that every time I struggle business-wise, I'm like, okay, well, was I expecting results the next day when I had a good leg workout? No, I didn't, because I knew that it's just not the way it works. So it's the consistency that matters the most, right? Podcast idea. I had a podcast idea on June 12. New things popping up. Have you seen this? What's cool about this? Okay. I guess I could do more of that here in my lives too. So start when if I have an audience going forward, a larger audience, or more people will tune in and time will tell. I guess until then I just have to keep doing these lives and just see how people react, and if I'm able to get an audience that wants to listen to what I want to say and rant about. All trading is mispriced assets. That's right. So everybody's trying to buy low and sell high. And if that's true, you always need somebody to fold, so to say. So let's say all trading is mispriced assets. So if you want to make money, think about it. So collectibles, for instance. You go to flea markets or thrift stores and you want to make money. How do you do it? You buy low and you sell high. In order for you to be able to buy low, somebody else needs to be willing to sell below market price. And what is that reason? Ask yourself, what is that you can offer that person? What does value mean to them? How can I make it easier? How can I make it faster? So let's say you are at a, I don't know, local flea market, thrift store type environment. What is it called? Is it a flea market, right? Where people, private sellers, they have their own collection, or garage sale would be a good one. Okay. So in order for you to take advantage of that situation, so the person who has that garage sale, right, wants to get rid of a lot of stuff. So he or she is incentivized to get quick sales. So you can take advantage of that if you can offer speed, meaning pay right there and then, give cash right away instead of waiting with your decision making or whatnot. You can buy a mispriced asset and then relist it somewhere else, right, where you have more time to wait and it's better pictures, better environment. So I think about that a lot. So real estate is a classic example of if you believe that you're in the business of finding right opportunities, whatever you do, all business is about buy low and sell high. If you have a barber shop, you cut somebody's hair. I don't have a lot of it, so I don't need that service. I cut whatever I have left by myself every other day, by the way. Anyhow, so if you're in that business, you're also in the business of buying low and selling high. What do you buy low? Time. Either your own or somebody else's. You have employees. You buy time. They trade time for money. Somebody's willing to come in and cut somebody's hair for an hour. You pay that person 50, and then you charge 100 from the client, from the customer. It's the same thing. You buy low, you sell high. So somebody's willing to sell their time, their hairdresser, in bulk, several hours, right? 30 at a time, 40 at a time, which is your, let's say, your monthly allocation. And then you break that into tiny little pieces. So you actually take the packaging of time. Okay, this is maybe too much off topic, but well, what is off topic? There is no such thing. But I think about that a lot. So if you want to make money, it's all about buying low and selling high, depending on the context you're in. But anyhow, so we discussed this a lot. I think it was a day ago, a couple of days ago, with one guy about he wanted to be a personal trainer in the fitness industry. And we talked about how to understand what value means to those paying clients. And I think that's just fundamental in whole business. If I were to start today, I wouldn't worry about competition that much. I would actually worry about what value means to my paying clients. I would spend endless hours in analyzing what value is. what makes their life easier. First of all, what's their dream outcome? What is it that they want to achieve? The first question would be, how can I make it risk-free? Okay, how can I make it less risky for them to achieve that? If I have a car shop and I offer oil changes, if not done in 30 minutes, it's on us. Okay, well, time matters to me. I want to get it done quickly and reliably. So if you're not satisfied, a full money back guarantee. We do it faster in half the time, and we make it twice as easy. And this is when you get achieved. So you just want to make sure that your car runs smoothly. That's the ultimate dream outcome for the paying customer. So then how can I make the process easier, smoother, less risky for them? It's no different than anything else. And it just sounds so simple, but then there are obviously a lot of nuances and a lot of little details that go into that. So understanding the value chain in detail is just everything. So far we've had a lot of people come and go, no questions, no conversations popping up. So I'm going to hang out here for a little bit. So make sure that if we get a conversation going. If not, then other than that, I can just rant here and talk about stuff before I start making breakfast. Did you know that Facebook's biggest growth came after localizing the service? It's just translations. Something I heard. Reminder to self. This is from June 14, 2024. Reminder to self, if I'm good enough in the game of entrepreneurship, it doesn't matter how late I start, the right results will always come out sooner or later. Yep, that's right. The way I try to apply that, when you go through that grind, that period of adversity, like I would say I'm in one right now, meaning my channel, if you look at the vanity metrics and the number of, not just the vanity metrics, but the number of leads and paying clients. So I had a lot of attention. I was able to create a lot of attention with a couple of videos that went quote unquote viral, my longer YouTube content. And I would say that was end of last year at the turn of the year. And my channel grew quite quickly to like 30,000 subscribers. And then after that, I hit a wall for several reasons. And then over the last 3 to 4 months, I've been thinking about whether I'm too generic with my content. And that's the thing that I mentioned in the beginning of this live session, that I repositioned my channel to just talk about real estate primarily. That's the long content. These live sessions are about everything, like just off topic, after off topic and whatnot. My passion areas, my interest areas in life. But so what I was about to say is that since I'm going through that period of vanity metrics not working, I know that I can add value with my content, but how do I find the audience? So there are times in your life when you go through that adversity period, nothing seems to be working. So how do I motivate myself? One of the ways, how do I make sure that I keep my eye on the ball, see the big picture? The question is, am I getting better? And if you are getting better, I think it's only a matter of time when people will see that and you start getting what you deserve. But I'm the biggest believer in understanding that we always get what we deserve in life. It might not be now, it might not be in 6 months or in 1 year, but if you zoom out, you look at, instead of just 1 day or 1 week, you look at, 5 years or 10 years, you always get what you deserve. If you're good enough, your audience will find you, or you will find your audience. That's what I believe in. Call me naive, maybe, I don't know, but it's always worked that way in my life. The reason why people say it didn't apply to me, I believe, is because they quit too early and they never got to see the results of their work. Then the real interesting question is, okay, when do I call it quits? When is enough? When enough is enough? Am I early or am I delusional? That's really interesting to have that in my mind. I think about that a lot. So I could ask myself, am I early? Meaning, would I just benefit from just pushing and just waiting for the results to come? Like I just said, if you zoom out, you always get what you deserve. Or are you just delusional? That's the thing. Am I thinking that I'm good enough, but I'm not? no matter what you do, especially starting a new thing from scratch. Let's say you want to become an entrepreneur, you have this long corporate career, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to start now, I'm going to keep grinding. But how do you know if you have what it takes? Meaning, are you early? Meaning, are you just, you have plenty of potential and you are already really good and you're going to be good enough to make a living out of this? Or are you delusional? See what I mean? That's fucking hard. That's really, really hard to know that. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think you have to spend too much time worrying about that because as long as you enjoy what you do, I think you have a way of figuring it out. When you don't enjoy what you do anymore, then just by all means do something else. But then it's not a matter of day, because there are days or weeks when you don't enjoy what you do. You just have to see the big picture. So I think that's just the way it works. Anyhow, so if you're interested in talking about life, personal development, business, go check out my channel. It's primarily real estate specific now. I talk about business overall, some personal development stuff a lot in my previous long YouTube videos, and today's content is just, this is just a live session about just a bunch of off-topic stuff. I'm gonna go outside for a little bit. Take this to the balcony. Let's see what's happening over there. Let's see, is it a cloudy day? Why did this fucker close? I don't know. Anyhow, so stepped out on a balcony. I got this, I moved here. I've been living in this apartment now for, I really like the location. Well, let me turn it the other way. So I'm right by the river. This is a coastal town where I'm at, and I'm right by the river, kind of like downtown, or city center is right there. So this is just me being by the river in a central location. I like being here because it's just gives me that idea of seeing the big picture, and it's super important to me overall. It's always been. I'm a big picture guy. Let me just readjust this a little bit. And I sold my house to simplify my life. That was what, last December, and now just my microphone crooked. No, and now I got this place that I had remodeled starting December, moved in end of March, and I have to say that this is like 1/3 of the size of my house, and I have no regrets as far as, I mean, like being able to simplify and being able to get rid of that, some of that stuff that I just sold or threw away or donated. It's just like so refreshing. It was one of the best decisions I ever made, simplify my life. I knew that my kids are getting older, so if I spend more time elsewhere in the winter, why would I have a big house where I have to worry about all the maintenance and stuff? It's just, I didn't want to do it. So this worked out really well. And the location gives me a chance to, I have a nice view, and I'm the big picture guy. I want to see that, like, I just can't be staring at a wall, so to say. It's just what I needed right now. But we go through different phases and seasons in life, and sometimes you need more space when your maybe kids are younger, and sometimes you need less. And then I think we just need to worry less about what other people think and do what's best for us. That's how I look at it. So I don't know which way is better, if it makes a difference here. Probably not. So not a lot of comments or no questions today. In the past we've had really interactive sessions, so if there's really no, so then probably start going. I'm gonna probably start doing some other stuff, make breakfast, and get ready for my long video recording at one point, and get going, because I could be talking forever, but unless there's something that, if you guys have any questions. There's one guy online right now. Is it too early in the morning? Depending on where people are. Just gonna adjust the microphone a little bit. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm probably gonna call it quits right now and just start making breakfast, like I said. Get ready for the day. So 40 minutes in. Usually conversations start earlier, but that's okay. Some days it's just gonna be like that. Keep showing up. Okay, cheers. Talk to you later.